Hey guys, hello girls. Joe Stunner from Joe Stunner Boxing here. I hope you're doing well. It's a new channel. Subscribe, like the video, share the video, whatever takes your fancy. I've been banging the videos out lately just to get the channel rolling, but also because I'm home from work sick, so I got little else to do, just trying to keep busy. But have a look at the videos I've done so far. See if you like any of them, and any support you can offer is always appreciated. Okay. So today I wanted to talk about the issue of scoring fights, because no surprise to anyone that we've seen some very controversial ones of late. I say of late, this year. Should we go back just through 2021? Now, a few weeks ago, there was a fight between Campbell Hatton, Ricky Hatton's son, and a guy called Sonny Martinez, who I'd never heard of. Martinez is from Spain. He came in with a 2 wins and 4 defeats record, and he lost a 58-57 decision to Campbell Hatton, which caused a lot of outrage amongst people who felt that Hatton clearly lost the fight. And I agree. I think he clearly lost the fight. I've heard people say that Hatton didn't win a round. I didn't score the fight while I was watching it live. I went back and watched it afterwards. And it's a 6-rounder. If you really want to be generous to Hatton, you could maybe give him 2 of the swing rounds. Maybe. I'm being ultra generous here. But there's no question that he lost the fight under any criteria. Okay? Now, the excuse that is always given, especially by the British Boxing Board of Control, is that scoring fights is subjective. And okay, as a concept, I can buy that. But you've got to define what you mean by subjective. Now, to me, as a fan of boxing for decades, I always saw it as a judge favouring a certain style or a certain game plan, a certain style. Let's put it this way. Let's say a judge prefers one solid left hook or one big meaty right cross to 3 or 4 pity-pat jabs. That's what he favours. Fair enough. Another judge might say, well, no. One punch, yeah, okay, it's got some leather on it, but I prefer the guy who's jabbing and moving, and again, fair enough. But what we don't need, because it's absolutely wrong, and this is where the controversy comes in, is when you move the goalposts. Because if you're scoring a fight and in the first round, fighter A lands those individual punches that are nice and, they really get the opponent's attention, even though he's taking jabs, there's little pity-pat flurries and so on, you prefer the guy with the meat on his punches, and you give him that round. You can't then, in round 2, if he lands the pity-pat jabs and the other guy lands the big punches, you can't say, well, I'll give him that round. Because you've changed your criteria. You've moved the goalposts. Now, Marcus McDonald was, I don't want to pick on any one particular person, because that's not what this video is about. This video is an overview of how we should score fights. But Marcus McDonald he scored the Campbell Hatton fight, 58-57 to Campbell Hatton. He's a highly experienced referee and judge. He was the sole arbiter, he was the referee, and he scored the fight. Telly Atlas used to say, there's only 2 reasons for a bad decision. One of them is absolute incompetence, and the other is skullduggery or dishonesty or corruption. What you pick the word. You pick the word. I don't want to accuse Marcus McDonald of skullduggery, but he looks to me like he's too experienced a referee to be that incompetent. It's possible he had a bad day at the office, because we all do. It's possible he got, because these referees and judges are human beings. It's possible he got sucked into the whole Campbell Hatton hype machine. But that's not really an excuse, because if you're a professional, you're supposed to be professional. So let's go back to another fight, just as another example, Louis Ritson and Miguel Vasquez, which, I mean, I thought Vasquez won that very easily indeed. And that was another fight that I think I did score it as I was watching it live. I can't remember what I came up with, but I watched it again just to make sure that the controversy was justified, and it was. I really thought Vasquez beat Ritson. That's not the first time Vasquez has been robbed either. He got robbed against O'Hara Davies. He's had some dreadful decisions, and it makes my blood simmer when these fighters come all this way to our backyard, or to the home fighter's backyard, and get jobbed. I think it makes me puke. Now, just to play devil's advocate, there's a, I'll give an example of a fight where I initially thought, that's a robbery. Wrong person's got that decision. But then I looked at it and I thought, I scored it, having watched it back, and I actually had the person I thought who did win the fight. I thought, yeah, they did win it legitimately. That can occasionally happen. And that fight recently was Ebony Bridges against a French girl, Gangloff, over 8-2s. And I watched that fight live, and at the end of it, I didn't score it, and at the end of it I thought, oh, Gangloff's won that by 3 rounds, 4 points, whatever, 4 points. Then I watched it back. No, I had Bridges 1 point ahead. So it can sometimes happen that people say, that's a robbery. You know, no, it's not a robbery. Close fights are not robberies. And also one fighter can give the impression that they are dominating, when actually if you study it and you dissect it, they're not dominating. It's actually a lot closer than the first impression is. So I'm not really talking about every fight. I'm talking about specific ones where you can't see what the judge was looking at. You can't understand what they were scoring for. And what's the answer? Is there an answer? I think we could start with the British Boxing Board of Control taking more responsibility and not saying, well, our guys are real professionals, they're very experienced, and everything's subjective. Okay, you're in charge of the sport, so you define what subjectivity is. I've just done it on this video. I've given you my interpretation, which you may agree or disagree with. But if you're in charge of the sport, let's see some definitions here. And it's not enough to say subjectivity can mean anything. It's totally fluid. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. You know, every words have meaning and words have definitions. And then, if the board could hold accountable judges and referees for their actions, that'd be nice too. It would be nice for the people that win fights and don't get the decision. It'd be nice for fighters who travel all the way from other countries and, you know, give their all and don't get their just desserts. So let me know what you think in the comments. Is there an answer? I don't know. In fairness to some of these world ruling bodies that we often slag off, they do at least occasionally order rematches. I think we should see a little bit more of that with the Board of Control, and a few more statements outlining what they mean by subjectivity being objective. Anyway, that's enough for me today. Let me hear your comments, see what you think, and you have a nice day. Take care.